Yes,
What's up?
yes.
What's up?
Welcome back to another episode of the Final Point Podcast. I am your host, Josh, joined as always by my co host, Adriel. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? Good to
Back
see you.
again, talking
Yep.
hoops, talking Celtics, talking Heat. We talking playoffs. How you feeling?
It's man. After All Star break, this is when the real season starts.
Yeah,
This is when stuff starts to get good.
basketball has begun. The best time of the season for me is after February. Teams start kind of looking at where they're at. Are they going to make it? And they teams that are on the outside looking in starting to make that push, and we get some good basketball out of it. So as fans, if you're an NBA fan, this should be the best time of the season for you.
And I think also we're probably in one of the best times of basketball that we could watch right now.
A lot of good basketball. Just finished watching the Bulls, the Bulls and Cavs game went into double overtime. That was pretty crazy. So yeah, we've been getting some good basketball lately.
Yep.
So, starting it off with your Heat, they have managed to catch fire right typical Heat fashion. Everyone takes a break first half of the season. Jimmy comes out of his vacation after February, wakes up and just is balling. The Heat are on fire, man. What do you think? How are they looking so far?
Well, first thing I gotta say is, thank God we gave up that first round pick to get rid of Kyle Lowry because it seems like all that has paid off. The team has completely flipped script off of that first round dump. We've pretty much gotten two talented point guards that can do their job well and help the team win and facilitate and help with the spacing that seems to be a problem, like it was just last night's game with Portland. In the first half, spacing was horrendous until kind of things settled down and got through the second half of the game. But right now, what we're seeing an engaged Jimmy Butler. I think I think as a Heat fan, I can say from all the years Jimmy's been playing, I think this year is probably the best year he's ever played in his career. All in an all-around aspect of scoring, passing, facilitating, defense, because he is engaged. Every time he's on that court, he's getting two, three, four steals a game. He is on that ball, and I want to give props as well to Mr. DeLon Wright that we just got from Washington. What a what a plug and play he's been ever. This is his second game he's played, and he's a monster on defense already off the bench. Terry, first game back as well. Recently, he looks like he never got injured. Uh,
Back like he never left.
it's
Scary
crazy.
Terry.
It's crazy. Jaquez the other night, almost a 30-point performance. I mean, they look like they're rolling right now. They look like it seems like actually ever since that New Orleans game and kind of that last loss to Boston, we kind of completely flipped the script. We're like a whole nother team now. Um, team looks like they are fighting to win now every night.
Yeah, this team goes as Jimmy goes. For some reason, it's like they almost know, like, okay, this is the time that we step it up because the main struggles for the Heat all season long have, and spoke about this off the podcast on numerous times, is their effort. The Heat looked different this season when it came to defense. Last season, they were locking teams up, and mainly they did it towards the end of the season and in the playoffs. They were just they were locking teams up, and that wasn't the case. But now we're starting to see it again. Uh, that game yesterday versus the Blazers, they let them come back on them, and then they just tighten up the screws, so they can do it. It's whether or not they are trying, and it seems like now they started to try again. And you know, I was hoping that they would lose 8 in a row. we wouldn't have to deal with them, right? And so then it would be a playoffs without the Heat, right?
Yeah, and
That's it's not looking like that, man.
no,
They
no.
are coming again.
I told Dave, like I have listed right here on the bottom, dangerously looming, man. We're dangerously looming in the East, climbing up the standings right now. We're inching inch by inch closer to that top three spot.
Yeah.
And
How do you feel about your boy Duncan Robinson? Because I know we've been speaking all season long about the possibilities of Duncan Robinson becoming most improved player. I for one was really down on him last season. I thought he really sold it. He wasn't really trying. He had no action off the dribble at all. He was just a spot up shooter. So predictable. Teams was once the scouting report came out on Duncan Robinson after that playoff series in the bubble. He started to get locked up, and this season he's changed it. He's a lot of backdoor cuts, moving without the ball. I mean, he's looking good. How you feeling about that most improved player award for Duncan Robinson?
um, as of right now, I think if the Heat continue to win like they have been winning right now, um, he has a pretty good spot to win the award this year. Uh, and also, he is shooting. I want to put this graphic up right now, just because he is shooting at an outstanding 40, almost 45% for his. I'm sorry, 41% as of right now. 3 point field goal percentage in his last 10 has been 46%, 13 points per game, 92% free throw shooter, 44.6% 3 point shooter last 10 games. And also on the road, he's shooting at 41%. So he's an outstanding 3 point shooter right now. And the things that he's doing off the dribble, he's averaging almost 4 assists a game, 3.5 assists per game. Um, his turnovers have been way down from last year. His defense has gone a lot better from last year because usually he's known for just catching quick fouls here and there. But I can say this year on defense, he's been almost night and day from last year. And the way he can create now off the dribble. And what we're seeing recently within these last, like, I would say 3 to 5 games, we're seeing him as an amazing passer, probably the only person on the Heat who can throw an adequate
Amazing,
lob.
dude. You
It's
said
and
amazing
listen,
passer like if he's
I
John Stockton.
I know,
Come on, man.
but when I say amazing
Yeah,
passer,
yeah,
I mean he just had 9 assists, like not just recent. He had 11 assists right here in the Sacramento game. Um, he is a great passer. And like I said, he is probably the only person on the Miami Heat who can throw adequate lobs to Bam at any given moment.
yeah.
Um, so and I know he has a tough group to follow along with Maxi, who's also going to be up there for most improved and other players as well. But
Scotty Barnes, man.
Exactly. So I mean, he's in a tough he's in a tough
Yeah,
room for the award. I have a feeling he's not going to get it just because of the amount of people who are surrounded by him in that candidacy. But
yeah.
we can't rule him out this year.
That that feeling you have is the right feeling. He ain't gonna win it. He ain't gonna win it. He should have at least been a borderline all-star to even be competing with that award right now. So that's just wishful thinking on your part. And listen, Miami Heat, and listen, you guys have a lot of confidence in your players, so maybe you'll just kind of will him into that win, maybe the Heat faithful will. Listen, he ain't gonna win it, man. I'm just trying to gas you up.
I no,
He's not
I
gonna
have
win
a
it.
feel. I think
Maxi got
most
this in the bag.
yeah, I would say most Heat fans should be realistic on that part that he
Yeah,
probably won't win it, but I think everyone in the NBA notices that he is not the same player he
yeah,
was from a season or 2 seasons ago. He has completely redefined himself, which I think makes him even more dangerous and is going to make him a very dangerous player now on the playoffs because now the real question is
right.
going to be Do you blitz him? Do you double him? Do you let him shoot the three? It's going to be a million questions now, I think, with him, and I think he's going to be a big part of this playoff run this year.
You know, one thing I can say about the Heat is that they always seem to make the right plays down the stretch, and that's playoff basketball. That's why they did so well in the playoffs last season, is because they were not rattled in those close games. Fourth quarter, 3 minutes, 2 3 point difference. You don't want to let the Heat stick around down 3 4 points in the fourth quarter with a couple minutes left on the clock. uh I was gonna say Pat Riley. Spo always knows what to do. He knows what to say to them to get them going. And then you got Jimmy Butler, who just refuses to lose. So listen, I was anticipating they would not be in the playoffs this season. But you know what? It looks like they are making a run, and they're getting everything together just on time. Jimmy has arrived to the NBA scene.
It's emo Jimmy time right now. I think that's what we got going on, and he's mad at the East.
He's coming to claim his well, listen, he didn't even make the All-Star game, man. He didn't even make I don't even think he cares about any of that.
No, no, I don't.
Jimmy does
I
not
honestly
care
he
about
could
the
care
All-Stars,
less.
the MVP. He doesn't care about none of that.
No, I don't. He doesn't care if he's Hall of Famer, All Star, nothing. He just wants to win a chip, and I respect it. And we gonna give it to him this year. This year. This
Much
year.
respect, Jimmy.
All right, Josh. I want to go ahead and lead into our next topic, and let's go ahead and get into what's been brewing over there in Boston, because you guys have been rolling in the month of February. So go ahead and
Rolling,
let
rolling, rolling,
can you
rolling,
explain to
rolling.
me what has been contributing to this winning streak that you guys have going on right now with 8 straight?
Listen, I saw a stat line the other day that it compared at this point in the season, we have a similar record to the 2008 championship Celtics team. And to me, that means nothing. Okay. I am tired of making it to the end and losing. So that doesn't mean anything to me. But it makes for a good discussion as to how good the Celtics team is and how it will end. 46-12 right now on the season. We're riding an 8 game win streak. Dominant at home. What concerns me is we are 2-3 in overtime games. 2-3. We both know that come playoff time, there's going to be a lot of close games. That means in close games they have not been able to pull out the win, and to me that's concerning. Yeah, okay, we're undefeated for the month of February. I got it. Celtics are red hot right now. This is a championship or bust season. So to me is I'm looking at whatever we're doing in February, we have to keep it going. The only reason why they are playing at the level that they are right now is because Jason Tatum is making his case for the MVP, I think. Okay, he's leading the team in all categories, points, rebounds, and assists for the month of February. His assists are up three. He's up three assists during this February stretch. That means Jason Tatum is sharing the ball. I mean, listen, if he continues to play with this all around game, we're gonna have to start taking a serious look at Jason Tatum for MVP. If we compare the numbers to the previous MVPs with that had a team with the winningest record, he's probably has the highest stat line. Okay, it to me it's comparison to Steph Curry's run back in 2015. Steph averaged 23 points, 4 rebounds, and almost 8 assists. Only 23 points, but his team had the winningest record. Jason Tatum, it's the Celtics will have the most wins. We will have the best record in the NBA. Okay, okay. People can say, okay, well, he has a lot of help. Well, that shouldn't disqualify him from winning the MVP. Jordan had Pippen. Uh, Jokic had Murray. The only one that didn't really have a lot of help was Joel Embiid because Maxi was just ascending to the talent he is now. But compared to every single MVP, Jason Tatum should be in the conversation. He's at 27 points, almost 9 rebounds, and almost 7 assists for the stretch in February. He's making his case for the MVP. And I think if the Celtics close this month out, we have 5 tough games coming up. We got the Mavs, Warriors, Cavs, Nuggets, and Phoenix. Okay, those are our next 5 games. If
Very
if
stacked.
if we at least, yeah, that's a tough stretch we're about to run into now. If we can at least come out of that 3-2, f- I'm hoping for 4-1, 5-0 would be great. But if we can come out of that at least 3-2, the rest of the schedule looks pretty favorable on our end. And listen, I think we're probably going. We're It's most likely we're gonna have the number one seed, and I'm hoping Jason Tatum at least gets a few looks for MVP because he's gonna deserve it. And leading into that, w- th- we're talking about the Eastern Conference, right? I mean, what's the Eastern Conference going to look like? I know the Celtics are ahead by a lot right now, but I mean, it's going to be a tight race for at least for the from 4 to 8. All those teams are so close. It's going to depend on where the Celtics match up, where the Heat match up. I'm looking for at least a Chicago or Pacers matchup for the Celtics. What are you thinking for the number one spot? Do you think the Celtics will end up number one?
I do think the Celtics will end up number one. Just because they're just what right now they're ahead by 8, 12 games on everyone in the East right now, and I just don't think that's. I don't think anyone's going to go on a 10-game, 12-game winning streak right now, especially through any of these teams in the East. Um, I do think they're going to end up with the number one seed. I do think they're going to match up probably with either Indiana or Orlando if Orlando just sneaks in, if they do make it. Um, However, I think one of the biggest question marks that are going to be for the Boston Celtics is, can they stay healthy and can they operate under pressure? I think those two are going to be the biggest questions for them because everything else, I mean, we've seen it. Do they have scorers? Yes. Do they have the defense? Yes. Do they have the coaching? Most of all, I would say yes. Uh, so they're pretty much good in all areas. The
Yeah,
area that it seems like where they haven't been able to fine tune yet is when the moment comes down the stretch. Can they capitalize?
we seem to always mess it up.
And
And
and sometimes it's not even a mess up, I would say. Sometimes it's injuries. Sometimes it's crazy calls by the ref. You know what I mean? Like it all depends on what position they put themselves in.
yeah, I am scared for Porzingis in this upcoming playoff run because we need Porzingis to be at 100%. Our entire offense, it goes through Tatum, yes, but our entire offense has a different look when Porzingis is in the game. You cannot double JT. You can't double JB. If you do, Porzingis is gonna get. I mean, if you do, you got Porzingis getting clean looks, Derek White getting clean looks. Drew Holiday is been an assassin from the corner. That corner pocket has been on lock for Drew Holiday with the three. Everybody can shoot, man. It's just gonna be they're just gonna be a very difficult out if they play how they're supposed to play. They're gonna be a very difficult out for anyone in the league. Anyone in the league. If the Celtics are playing at 100%, I don't see them losing. And I know, hey, I'm a Celtics fan. You can say whatever the hell you want to say. I don't see them losing when they're playing at 100%. If barring no injuries, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
we got it.
when they're definitely on it, they can just throw an avalanche of offense on teams, and I think that's honestly their scariest trait is their offense. If they're all clicking, they're all hitting those threes, it could be a 30-point blowout in less than a minute, very quickly. Like they can definitely shoot the ball, and I think that's honestly one of the scariest things about them. Uh, However, as a Heat fan, I think you guys match up perfectly with us, even though that we look small on the court. But
No,
I
man,
don't
the
know.
Heat are built. The Heat right now are built for a playoff run. The
Yeah,
way everything is setting up, they are built for it. They've been preserving their energy. They are calculated, and we cannot sleep on them. No one can sleep on the Heat. Is the Eastern Conference is not safe while the Heat are still in the playoffs. No one is safe
and I'm
unless we
here to agree
kidnap Jimmy
with you.
Butler.
You're gonna have to try to break Duncan Robinson's arm.
Dude, by the way, Jason Tatum did not mean to do that to his arm that game, man. That was an accident.
Hey,
We don't
uh,
condone the injury of no players.
I don't believe the Celtics are a dirty team per se, but what I saw there was frustration, is what I saw.
Wait a minute. You just said you didn't believe that we're dirty, but that was dirty.
I didn't say it was
You
dirty.
just said.
Dirty for me is that Pelicans game with Najee putting hands on Jim. That to me is dirty. That's dirty. You shouldn't
Yeah.
be doing that.
Well,
However,
Jimmy
what
shouldn't be in nobody's face like that either. I
I
mean,
true, he looked for the smoke and he got it. It- you're right. You're right. But that is what I consider dirty. What I consider Jimmy doing, that's just competitiveness. But what I consider dirty is putting hands on. Now, what Jalen did, that wasn't for me. I don't think he wanted to intentionally hurt Duncan Robinson, but that was like frustration. He
listen,
knew that Duncan was
listen.
fronting him, and he was like, "Come on, man, why is this guy in front of me? Why is he trying to box me out?" And that's what happened. I
Duncan got what he was looking for. And listen, the Celtics right now, if you take a close look at what's been happening lately, um, over the All Star weekend, Bam and Tatum, buddy buddy, we are trying to infiltrate the Heat organization, and it seems like no one on the Celtics or the Heat like each other, but there is the that one Bam factor. Bam being close friends with Jason Tatum the way that is. I don't think I like that so much. I want there to be hate across the board for that whole team. I mean, if
I'm
you're on
with
that
you.
side, you're on that side. I don't like all that buddy buddy shit because last season that playoff matchup last season with the Celtics and the Heat will go down as one of the most emotional playoff series I've ever been a part of. And for any of them to be buddy buddy, it's like, listen, cut that shit out, man.
It
I'll see
just
you
seems
after the
wrong.
season. Yeah, I'll see you
Yeah,
after the season.
it just
Put my
seems
kid
wrong.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that point too because I'm not a fan of the whole let's be friends, let's shake hands, let's talk about the game afterward. No,
Nah, I
no,
don't
no.
like that shit. No,
Bec- uh,
man.
because I feel like it feeds like that emotion definitely feeds into your performance while you're playing under
Right.
pressure.
Well, let's be clear. There will be no love lost with the Jalen Brown and Duncan Robinson matchup.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see that again. That's gonna be
Right.
fun.
Yeah, that's
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 gonna
gonna
be
be
fun.
there's no love lost there. I and did something happen with Derek White and the Heat too? I mean, wasn't there a little scuffle with them too?
I feel like there was last year in the playoffs, but I can't for whatever reason I can't remember who it was. Um, it might have been Caleb, but I'm not. I really don't. I can't say for sure. But I definitely. I mean, every time we meet in the playoffs, it seems to be some type of. You can tell that there's emotion running through each team. Each team, you can feel the intensity when they're both playing each other every time. Even in the regular season, there's an intensity that always shows up when you watch those games. Um, so I think
Well,
this year it's gonna be great to
yeah.
watch.
Listen, the history gives us these iconic, uh, legendary playoff matchups, right? And sometimes they happen by accident. It's of course it's sometimes it's East versus West with the Celtics and the Lakers back in the day. You got the Bulls and the Pistons in the East. That started off in the whole Jordan era with Isaiah Thomas, and then a new rivalry started back in 2009. I was it 2009 or 10? That was
I think
2009.
yeah,
No, no, no.
no 10 10 10.
2010 with the Celtics and the Heat and LeBron and Paul Pierce. And listen, it has now moved on to a new generation. Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Jalen Brown, Duncan Robinson, new characters have emerged in this rivalry. And I would like nothing more than another Heat Celtic playoff matchup.
So, and I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
I don't want a Bucks as much
And
as I love to watch the
yeah,
Bucks go down every year. I think what I really truly enjoy, win or lose, is watching Celtics and Heat
yeah, we
every
we
time.
need the NBA needs another Celtic Heat classic matchup. How it's looking now, I'm hoping, right, that we get a Eastern Conference Finals matchup, just to decide who goes on. I hope that the Heat don't fall before they get to match up with us, because as of right now, I mean, listen, let's be honest, the East is, I mean, Cavs look good.
The
Cavs look
Cavs,
good.
the
Okay,
Cavs have
they're
been looking
healthy,
great.
right? Max Strus added to that team, added some juice to that team. Donovan Mitchell is looking comfortable. Darius Garland is back. Mobley's healthy again. The Cavs are good. So I anticipate that there will be no roadblocks leading up to this, potential Heat Celtics matchup. But that's what I'm hoping that is what we get. But standing in their way, right now, I think the Pacers, Magic. As I mean, as much as I
Two
thought the Magic weren't even going to be in it right now, but they are.
two sneaky teams. Two
Very
sneaky
sneaky.
teams.
If the Knicks can get healthy, if the Knicks can get healthy and get Julius Randle back and OG back healthy, look out for them, because they were clicking on all cylinders before Julius Randle got
They're a
injured, and
scrappy
OG.
team.
Yeah, and they have that home court. Madison Square Garden's always going to be lit come playoff time. So
Yep.
you look out for that. Right now they're in the fourth spot. It would be a we're looking at a Knicks possible Sixers matchup. I don't think I want to see this as a basketball fan. I don't think I want to see the Knicks. I mean, the Sixers in the playoffs without Joel Embiid. It's just not even going to be. It's just every season this happens. It seems like
Yeah.
a team that was looking good as a playoff, as a championship contender, loses its star player, and the team, to no fault of its own, is kind of still in the playoffs, right? So like now they're there. So now what do? Everybody got to play. It happens all the time, and I hate
And
that
and
because
and it seems like it always happens with the Sixers every year where they can never go into the
right.
playoffs with a healthy Embiid. Never. It's always Embiid like at 50%, at 70%, at
Well,
40%.
this happened last year with the Brooklyn Nets. If you remember last year with the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant both get traded
Yep.
mid-season, right? Leaving the Brooklyn Nets with an already good record. So they were already making it to the playoffs. So you got a trash team in the playoffs. They shouldn't have been in the playoffs. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But yeah, Knicks are sneaky if they get healthy. I don't anticipate the Sixers really hanging around. I'm thinking they're gonna move down,
They're going to keep dropping, I
yeah,
think.
they keep dropping. I would love to see Chicago in that mix. They've been playing well. Even Atlanta, it's playoffs are always fun with Trey Young balling out, having some highlights. That's always fun. but it should be interesting. Listen, I'm not too high on the Bucks, man. I don't know,
Me
something's going on with
neither.
the Bucks. You can't ride Giannis Dame the entire way. That's just not possible.
Especially
You
how
know.
they have been looking on defense. Yes, they've been looking
Right.
better on
Yeah.
defense recently, but I don't trust that defense at all in the 7-game series. I don't. I don't trust any of it to hold up for long. And
Yeah.
Middleton's always a question mark.
But where's he been at? Has he even been playing?
Exactly.
I mean, where's
I'm
Middleton at? He's still
yeah,
getting paid.
yeah, and he's been a non-factor. Most of their guys, that bench is a non-factor in a 7-game series. It's just not happening. It's not standing up, especially to next to these teams. I think you put the Bucks in with like a team like Cleveland. Cleveland will get them out of there.
I think in a 7 game series, I think Cleveland gets the Bucks on out of there.
Yeah,
Hell, in a 7 game series, um, I don't even see them. I don't see them beating the Heat in a 7 game series right now.
I don't either. I think honestly they're worse than they were
Right,
last year.
because it's gonna come down to the bench X factors, and the Heat have a couple bench players that I think are gonna surprise a few people. Jovic is gonna show up in the playoffs. Um, Jaime Jaquez, the Mexican sensation, is going to show up in the playoffs. He's going to have a couple. He's going to win them a few games. Jaquez with the ball in his hands is going to win Miami a few games, close games. So I, I don't like the Bucks' chances here. I mean, unless we see Dame go back to like Blazers Dame, where he's
Yeah,
just going Dame time, 3 minutes left in the game, and he's dropping 10.
where
With
Giannis can maybe get them
daggers.
as close game area and just have him just hit daggers after dagger. It's a
Right.
possibility. I think they can win a couple playoff games. I don't think they'll come out in a sweep, but in a 7-game series, I don't think they're holding up, man. And and since we're talking about playoff pictures, let's go ahead and see what could be a potential first round matchup right now.
First round
Uh,
matchup that we want to see.
correct. If the playoffs started today,
Okay.
so I'm going to go ahead and share a graphic here. Let's go here. All right. So currently for the East, as of today, if the playoffs started today, you would have the Boston Celtics against the Orlando Magic, the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks with Philadelphia 76ers, and the New York Knicks with Miami. And
You
for
already know
your
where I'm going, man.
and for your West, you would have Minnesota versus Sacramento, Oklahoma versus Dallas, and Denver and New Orleans, as well as LA and Phoenix. And
That's the one right there.
I was about to say I think that would be an amazing first round matchup actually for the West is LA and Phoenix. That looks like a really great game. Um, for the East, on these matchups right now as of today, is there anything that surprises you?
As we just spoke, I don't see Philly being there. So, but just I mean, if it started today, listen, the matchup that I would like to see is Jimmy back in Madison Square Garden. That would be classic because
Mhm.
that New York Knicks Miami Heat rivalry has been there since
The-
late
Before
90s.
I was born.
Late 90s matchup, man. That's old school rivalry talk right there. And I would love to see a Jimmy Butler, Jalen Brunson, big stage. That would be the one. For me in the East, I'm looking at right now New York Knicks, Miami. That would be a classic matchup.
Um, surprisingly, I know Boston would probably could. I know Boston would.
Steamroll. We would
Yeah.
steamroll Orlando.
However, also one of your losses are from the Orlando Magic this year.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yeah. I
I,
mean,
I, I just, I don't think they can. I don't think they can win. but I'm so interested in them because I want to see how they perform. I just want to see how far they really can go if they're given the chance. So like I am interested in that matchup just because you're giving them the best of the best and you're giving them the opportunity to go against and they're a young team, like I'm interested. I am interested. However, I also think Cleveland and Indiana is
That's another fun one.
I
That'll be a
think
fun one.
yeah, I think that's a really fun first round matchup in the East. Because of course, you know, I would love to see that Miami New York Knicks first round matchup because I
That's gonna be
hate
so good.
the Knicks. I hate them. And I love watching them go against that rivalry as well because it's a legendary rivalry. So I would love to watch that. But that Cleveland Indiana one, I don't know, man. I really like that one for sure. That and we still have two more matchups with them coming up this season on the 18th and the 12th as well, April. So I think this is one that we should be watching these two teams, Cleveland and Indiana, just because of how good both teams have been playing lately, especially Cleveland. And like I said too, LA and Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's the one. I want to see that LA team in a first round matchup with a team like Phoenix. If you want to give a good Western Conference matchup, I think those two match up perfectly.
It's a shame that if they do match up, it'll be a shame, but it'll be good as NBA fans because that's gonna be a hell of a first round matchup if we get Kevin Durant, D Book, Kawhi, Pete, Paul George, man, Harden, man. Listen,
Westbrook.
that's a jam packed, entertaining first round series. I hope they don't meet so early because I'm
Yeah.
I'm anticipating that Phoenix is going to start to kind of get it together a little more here and really start playing some good basketball. So I want to see them perhaps maybe later on in the first round. I mean in the maybe second round, but the matchup for me for this would be OKC and Dallas because Dallas is an interesting team. Dallas has kind of figured it out here in this second half, almost like I'd say maybe after November, Dallas really started to figure it out. I thought that Kyrie and that Luca duo was gonna struggle,
Hmm.
but they figured it out. They know when to kind of
They look a lot better
go
than the first
right.
half of the season,
They do.
I'll
They
say.
do. And Luca and Kyrie are kind of starting to realize when to defer to one another, which is pretty scary because then Kyrie reminds you that he's Kyrie and he's one of the most special talents the NBA has ever seen.
And you can
And
switch them. You can.
right,
That's
and
what I think is scary. It's like,
right, and
oh,
you
you got
need
one
that.
offensive power. Okay, hold on. Let's bench you for a second, give you a rest. We're gonna put our other like top
Right,
point guard of all time.
like
It's crazy.
like these 1-2 punches that we're gonna see in these Western Conference playoffs are gonna be scary. We got a D Book, Kevin Durant 1-2 punch. Adding Beal in there, you got the third with the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. They're a dynamic 1-2 punch. With the Pelicans, we got Zion, Ingram. They're dangerous duo. Nuggets, Jokic and Murray, that classic pick and roll offense. So there's so many 1-2 punches here that it's gonna be fun to see. But that Kyrie Luca, and listen, I hate to say this, but I think OKC will take them out. I
I
think
think they can.
OKC will take them out in a 7 game series. OKC is that good. They're so balanced. So that'll be so fun to watch. But especially if Luca is in contention for the MVP, I don't see him letting them lose. So it's gonna be so fun to watch these playoffs. And everybody is sleeping on the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I
Why
was
are we
gonna.
sleeping on them? I think the Timberwolves are this season's Kings. Remember last season, the Kings were kind
Yes,
of
the
red hot,
Kings.
but no one gave them a chance in the playoffs, and they proved it. They weren't that good in the playoffs, right? They ended up getting knocked out, but the Timberwolves may be this season's Kings.
And that was actually one I was going to get onto. I think that matchup might actually surprise us, just because I think I was advocating for the Kings to kind of make a good playoff push last year, but they kind of, you know, going against Steph Curry on your on when what was it? It was like their first playoff appearance in
Yeah,
like like 20, 30 years. To do that also with the young team that they had, and they made it competitive. They took them all the way, but you
they
know,
did.
they just what can you do when you're in a 7 game series against Curry, right?
Mm.
But I mean, with how Sabonis has played this year, how good Keegan Murray has been this year for them, and you know, you still have a guy that's leading the NBA in steals, De'Aaron Fox, right now. You got a good trio, young trio there, and they got some good bench players, some up and comer young guys. So I think they can actually make things interesting for Minnesota. We're going to have to watch how Minnesota uh, goes on from here on
Yeah.
out. That
Hey,
just
yeah.
yesterday, Anthony Edwards got excuse me, uh, a high ankle sprain. So we would have to see how they go on from here on out. But
But there's still a lot of basketball to be played here. So this picture is gonna
yeah,
look a lot different. This would be, if it started today, how exciting these first round matchups would be. But there's still a lot of basketball to play here, and so I'm curious to see how this is going to shape up. However it goes, these first round matchups promise to be entertaining.
I think we're
Can't
gonna
wait.
get legendary basketball this year. I
Can't
really do
wait.
think. Well, guys, this ends our podcast for today. Thank you guys for watching. Like we said, we're going to keep pumping out videos at least minimal once a week. We're here to update you guys on Miami Heat and Boston Celtics and news around the NBA. Please stay tuned, like and subscribe, and
A
we'll
lot of
have
good
some.
basketball left. We will be back.
Yep, we'll have some more content out for you guys soon. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Peace.